That's why it's a story. One person died in Pakistan. He was a rich man, and his son, he had one son, and he said, my son, when I die, with the coffin, put an old pair of shoes on my feet. Normally a coffin is put the white shroud and nothing else. So after that, when they put the coffin, the shroud, he brought an old pair of shoes and put on the body. The people say, oh, what are you doing? The ulama said it's wrong, it's against the sunnah to put any shoe. The body is not going to walk after death. So you don't put this. He said, no, my father said this. They said, no, the other relatives came in and there was a dispute. And one of the friends of his father came with a letter and he said that my friend, his father gave me a letter and he said, after my death there will be a dispute about my shoes, wearing shoes. Read this letter to people and it will solve the dispute. And the letter said, oh people, oh especially my son, you know I have made millions and I have so many property and things. And why I said to you to make me an old pair of shoes that you wear on my feet is that, and now the dispute has risen, is to show you and also others that today I cannot take one old pair of shoes with me. People not letting me take that. तो वालिद ने कहा कि जब मैं मर जाऊं तो मुझे पुराने कपड़े, ये पुराने जूते पहनाना. जनाजा हुआ, बेटे ने जूते पहना दिए, झगड़ा हो गया. दूसरे कह ले क्यों पहनाए हैं? तो उनके एक दोस्त थे, उन्होंने खत पढ़ा. खत में लिखा था कि ये मैंने इसलिए कहा कि बेटा और दूसरों को भी सबक ये कि देखो मैं करोड़पति बंदा हूँ, मेरी कितनी आज मैं एक पुराने शूज़, पुराने जूतों का जोड़ा भी साथ नहीं लेके जा सकता. तो जो बंदा, उन्होंने लिखा कि जो बंदा समझता है मैं कामयाब हो गया हूँ, मैंने बहुत पैसे कमाए हैं, वो बेवकूफ़ है. बेवकूफ़ इसलिए कि तुम साथ तो कुछ लेके जा नहीं रहे, तो कामयाब कैसे हो गए? सिर्फ हाँ, अगर वो आगे बेच दिए हैं तुमने, दीन पर खर्च कर दिए हैं तुमने और औलाद की तरबियत पर खर्च कर दिए हैं, तो फिर वाकई तुम्हारा वो सदका कर दिया है, को माल लगा दिया है. इट इज़ because otherwise it will be like a dead pond. Because you can invest the money in the business of Akhira, it carries on, it works on. Do you know there is an account in Saudi Arabia in a bank on the name of Sayyidina Usman bin Affan radiyallahu anhu. सऊदी अरेबिया में एक बैंक में अब भी एक अकाउंट है हजरत उस्मान बिन अफान सहाबी रसूल का. How is possible? He lived 14 centuries ago, he passed away. How it came about was, he was a rich man, a billionaire in the time of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. But he spent wealth in the way of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and he gave a lot of land for the sake of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And that land he made waqf, that no one can own it, no government, no one, no family. It was his charity, his way to give to poor. That all the earnings from this land will go to the poor people. So over 1 century, 2nd century, it was still continuing, and the money was so much that they had to open an account on his name. So now that land is still there. All the income from there is put in that account and spent in. So Hazrat Usman radiyallahu anhu के नाम का account अभी चल रहा है, 1400 साल हुए हैं. Why? Because he had invested in Akhira. वो जो वहाँ के और भी बहुत अमीर बंदे थे, there were many rich people at that time who didn't invest in Akhira. दुनिया में छोड़ गए, उनका ज़ाया पता ही नहीं कहाँ किधर चला गया. Abu Lahab was a rich person. Abu Lahab was a very rich person, but he opposed Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. उसने आप अलैहिस्सलातु वस्सलाम की मुखालफत की, and he died, and no one was ready to bury him. For 3 days he was just lying there, or more days. So much so that the body began to disintegrate and bad smell began to come and people were very much disturbed, and then they just actually not buried but threw him in a hole as though. हालांकि वो बड़ा rich बंदा, he was a rich man, he was actually that. तो आप देखें, so success is not here. वो कहाँ है? Meaning the people who manufacture the greatest cars, जितनी कार कंपनीज हैं, जितनी ये एप्पल की कंपनीज हैं, जितनी दूसरे हैं, वो they all had to leave everything. Everything has stripped away. That's why they said that the Alexander Skandar Zulkarnain, जो एक बादशाह गुजरे हैं, he was a king, and he was pious king. He said that when I die, put my hands out of my coffin. Put my hands, don't put my hand in the coffin, put my hands outside so that people can see that I am going empty-handed. So the wealth which Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gives a person is to spend on yourself and others, not to accumulate. It will become a scorpion and snake, not only in the other world, यहाँ भी सांप बन गया वो कईयों के लिए. तो वो एक तो होता भाई दोज़ख में जाएंगे सांप बनेगा माल, यहाँ भी झगड़े हो गए उससे, सांप नहीं तो और क्या है, वो तो ज़्यादा ना, मियाँ बीवी में झगड़ा हो गया पैसे की वजह से, भाइयों में लड़ाई हो गई ज़मीन की वजह से, प्रॉपर्टी की वजह से, फॉर प्रॉपर्टी. सो दैट बिकम्स लाइक a scorpion, a snake, which the poison of it is actually separating husband and wife, brothers and sisters and things. लेकिन अल्लाह की राह में जो है वो खर्च हुआ. Anyway, I was trying to say to you that you can give this quality or this love of yours to anything. You can give it to mal, but what will it do? You can give it to dunya, it will enslave you. So that is why they say that don't give it to anyone except actually Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wasallam and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and the awliya Allah. Why? Because everything and everyone will take something from you and they will squeeze benefit from you. Only Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam and awliya Allah will only give you something, actually will give you more if you give them love or anything. Anyway, when we were in this journey, when we went to the Urdan, meaning the Jordan, there we visited a grave of a great millionaire Sahabi radiallahu anhu, Sayyidina Abdul Rahman bin Auf and Sayyidina Abu Ubaidah bin al-Jarrah radiallahu anhu. Great leader, great companion. So much so that Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam said about Hazrat Abu Ubaidah, Law shi't, if I want, he sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, I can find any shortcoming in the morals and akhlaq of people. He said, I can find, it's the Prophet al-Islam, he's the apex of perfection. He said, I can find anything which is shortcoming in any of you except Abu Ubaidah bin al-Jarrah. And when I look at him, when I see him, I only find perfection, I don't find anything. And when Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, people of Yemen came that we want a teacher, we want a leader, he sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, take Abu Ubaidah, he is, every ummah has a most trustworthy person, and the most trustworthy person in my entire ummah is Abu Ubaidah bin al-Jarrah. He is the one. And Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, the love he had, that his father came from the kuffar side fighting on that battle of Badr, and he was from the Muslim. And he avoided him. Many times he challenged him, but he did not fight him because as though he was a father, although he was a disbeliever. But time came when he forced him to fight. And he, in the love of the Prophet ﷺ, killed his father on the kuffar side. Imagine, this is the type of loyalty they had. How now our loyalty changed. Neend aa gayi hai, ye ho gaya, flan ho gaya, susti aa gayi hai, we are lazy, this, that, anger, we have become angry, we start to swear. Dekh ye loyalty to nahi hai. If you have loyalty towards Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, then actually You don't act upon your anger and act upon other emotions and feelings, etc., etc. So I was saying that the love. So he was a ruler of whole of the Palestine area, the Jordan, and all area that area, and Syria. Might have been love. I am saying to you that how they gave love to Sayyidina Umar bin Khattab, radiallahu anhu. He went to visit him from Medina to Munawwara to Jordan to Syria. And he said he saw the city and Sayyidina Abu Ubaidah bin al-Jarrah, and Hazrat Umar was very happy with him. He liked him very much because he asked once al-Mu'mineen Aisha Siddiqa radiallahu ta'ala, Ya al-Mu'mineen, O mother of believers, who do you think, apart from the family of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, who do you think Rasulullah loved the most? She said, Abu Bakr. Then she said, Umar. Then she said, I think Abu Ubaidah bin al-Jarrah. He was the favorite person of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. So for that reason, Sayyidina Umar bin Khattab also liked him very much. And he went to visit him, and he made a visit how he is running the system and whole of the Palestine. Sayyidina Khalid ibn Walid radiallahu anhu was under him, under his command. Hazrat Abu Ubaidah was the military leader as well, and Hazrat Khalid bin Walid radiallahu anhu was under him. Imagine this is the type of person. So Sayyidina Umar bin Khattab radiallahu anhu said, Abu Ubaidah, I have come, you've shown me the city, the government offices and everything, but you have not shown me your house. You've not shown me your house. Aapne farmaya ke Sayyidina Abu Ubaidah said that, oh Amir al-Mu'mineen, what will you do after seeing my house? It's okay, we are here. No, Sayyidina Umar radiallahu anhu said, no, you should take me to your house. Because he radiallahu anhu used to visit the houses of governors so that to see their living standard and the money and the luxury they have, so that to know that they are not getting extra things actually as they are leaders and presidents like of the country. So he insisted that I want to see your house. So Sayyidina Abu Ubaidah radiallahu anhu, he said okay. So he took him to his house, and when they entered, Sayyidina Umar bin Khattab doubted that it was a house. He said, is this a store, empty store? Is it a house? He said, this is my house. Because there was one only, like a pillow, a bowl to drink, like a cup, and one water container. That's it. In the entire house. This is the leader or emir of 3 countries. Now. So Sayyidina Umar bin Khattab radiallahu anhu said, is there anything to eat, like fruit or anything you have? For example, food, people store food in their house. He opened, opening in the wall and brought out, and there was a few pieces of bread, dry pieces of bread and chapati dried. Sayyidina Umar bin Khattab radiallahu anhu, Amir al-Mu'mineen, his eyes began to shed tears. He said that Abu Ubaidah, that is what you have. And he said, Abu Ubaidah, after Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, all these victories and dunya and the luxury that we are now ruling over half of the earth, all these victorious things and this now the time which everyone has prosperous, everyone has somewhat changed. The dunya has changed us to some extent. Except you, the dunya has not able to change you. You are exactly 100% same as the time of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. And he began to weep. And Rasulullah, as Amir al-Mu'mineen said, as Abu Ubaidah said, Ya Amir al-Mu'mineen, I said to you that what will you get from seeing my house? Just shedding tears you will. And Amir al-Mu'mineen, Sayyidina Umar bin Khattab said that you should have some food extra and some things for. He said for us in this dunya, this is sufficient. This is sufficient. And also, he used to, in spite of so much taqwa and so much high status, he used to say, I wish I was not a human being, I was a lamb. I was a lamb so that I can come useful to people. I can come of any use to people. People will slaughter me and eat my meat and actually benefit. I wish I was not a human being, because I do not act upon like as I should as a human being. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has created me and sent me, enabled me to meet Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam.